Hi, this is Digital Lady Sid. This week I decided to publish a blog on how to paint with a texture brush from your image. I thought a video would be helpful, so let's get going. This is the image that we're going to be working on, but let me show you. This is the one that was posted on the blog where you could see that there is a nice texture and the objects have been selected and painted over to match the texture. We're going to try this different texture by two little owls called Stain 25. And this time what we will do is we're going to turn off all the layers except for the texture. We're going to choose an elliptical tool and we're going to drag out a circle here. And we're going to select an area that we think would make a nice pretty textured brush. We're going to do a Control J, and that puts the elliptical selection on its own layer. Turn off your texture. Now, because it's not in black and white, we've got to fix that. So we add a threshold adjustment layer and take the white tab, move it to the center, and just make it until you just really like the look of it. That you think it would make a nice pretty brush. I like that one. Go down and highlight that layer that has the selection on it again, and go to Edit, Define Brush Preset, and we're going to call this New for time's sake here, and say OK. Now you have a nice brush that is going to appear. If you open this up, select your brush tool, you'll see it down at the bottom. There is your new brush. So we're going to turn off the threshold and the selection layer that we had before. We're going to add a new layer above the threshold. And we're just going to click one time so that we have an example of what the brush looks like. We're going to take, this time we'll just take the square or rectangular marquee tool, and we're going to just, in fact, drag right inside it to make it a square. So we'll have a square pattern, roughly. And we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to say Define Pattern. We're going to name it New, and it will appear at the bottom of your pattern list or texture list when we get to that point on our brushes. So now we're ready to create a fancier brush. We're going to put these three layers that we created in our document into a group, select them, go Control G, and name them Brush and Pattern. Turn them off. Now turn on your other layers so you can see what we've got going now. The next thing we're going to do is fix this brush up, so we're going to open up the brush panel, and you can get to that by going to Window and select the brush panel, or you can once you select the brushes over here, you can click up here, and that will toggle the brush panel on and off. So there it is, on and off. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make that size much smaller, because to paint with a brush that large would really take up a lot of RAM and it wouldn't look very good. Going to add a little spacing in here, and right now I'm just kind of, I don't know, I'm setting it to something I think might make a pretty looking brush, but I can come back and adjust it. We're going to go to Shape Dynamics, make sure your control is off, and we're going to set the jitter around 4% I think on this, but let me see here. Yeah, it looks alright. We're now going to go into the texture panel, and we're going to go down and we're going to select the one we just created, which was down here, and that actually looks pretty good. Well, got to have a scale over 100%, otherwise you'll get a lot of repetition in it. You can adjust your brightness to make it look a little brighter or softer. This has a lot of sharp edges in the texture, so we might want to just play with that a little. I usually set this to multiply, but you can change it to anything you want. Set your depth to 100% so that you'll actually be able to see some texture in it. And your depth jitter, just play with this setting, because this shows you how much of that texture you're going to pull in your brush. And we'll just set it to right there. Okay, now in this case we can actually add another brush if we want to try that. And I had tried this one that was called, it was the called Dry Rough Brush, and it is in the Wet Media Brushes. I don't know, it's just one I had on mine, but you can use anything that's highlighted. You can use as another brush. And, you know, you just start playing with the settings here to see how you can get something kind of interesting going here. If you don't want to use it, just turn it off. You can adjust the count to get a little bit different. Okay, I kind of like that. So we're going to go ahead and try some painting. So the first thing we're going to do is deselect that rectangle selection I had. And we're just going to add a new layer. And we are going to sample by clicking Alt in our picture. Pick a nice pretty color, and we're going to dab over a lighter color. And let's just pull this up so you can see what we're doing. Let's work on this little roof piece right here. You go Alt, and we want to add a little bit of that in there, and look how pretty that is. You can kind of, and if you don't like the way the brush looks, go back and adjust it some more. And what I will recommend right now, if you like your brush and you like the way it's going, this looks a little round to me. I'm not sure I like that so much. Let's see if we adjust that down a little. Yeah, not really. Let's turn off the dual brush. Does that help? No, I'm just not, you know, liking it. But you don't have to just love it. You can adjust that texture down. Let's see, let's adjust the brightness. Maybe make it a little less. But as you can see, you just kind of dab it around. You can change your settings. Let's make that maybe more. Let's see. Let's sample another area here and see if we can. Maybe that's not so bad. But anyway, it gives you an idea of how you can try different brushes. This one probably isn't as good as the one I made for the document that I've got that has a little bit different type of texture in it, but on the other hand, it's kind of got some possibilities there, and it definitely adds the painted look to your image. So give that a try. Try different types of textures. Obviously, you can see I'm in the midst of investigating that. I haven't tried that one before. I just tried a round one. I might like the square look better. It looks like maybe I'll go back and maybe resample it as a square. But it's a lot of fun, and I think you can get a nice effect once you get that all painted out, just like I did on the first image. So if you want to see more, you can check me out at sidspics.wordpress.com, which is where the latest blog was put, or my tidbits blog at www.digitalladysid.com. Talk to you later. Thanks.